Welcome, everyone. It's another episode of Lunchtime Live with Olivia, and I am a LinkedIn Vibe expert. Vibe stands for visibility, impact, and brand expression. I believe these are the keys that you need for your social media success. And I love nothing more than to empower you to show up confidently on social media and to express your brand, share your story, and have an impact and influence on your audience. So, with me today, I'm very pleased to introduce to you Richard Morden. So Richard is someone that I've met and been working with, and he has been a tremendous help for me personally in helping me through some major breakthroughs. And he specializes in a technique called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, aka tapping. And so, Richard, for those of you who are listening and maybe hearing the word tapping for the first time, please let us know, what is it? What has it mean? What has it meant for you too?
Well, thank you, Olivia. It's a pleasure to be here today. Tapping, the big word is emotional freedom technique, but that's pretty confusing. So most people know it as tapping because we are actually tapping on meridians on our body. It was designed back in the 90s by a gentleman named Gary Craig, who took this from a thought field therapy program and that. But again, we have 12 meridians running through our body. And our body is a holder of all our emotions. Really, it's a storage of that. So we know why we feel over time, we feel tired all the time, a lot of unprocessed emotions in our body. So by accessing the meridians, which just by the tapping points on various parts of the body, we start to access the energy of those emotions. And the big thing is you don't have to know what they are at the moment. It's really a very simple process. So we just acknowledge ourselves, where we are in the moment with tapping and just by what we're doing. And we use these pressure points, light pressure on the body, just it's very touching like that. And as we're going through our dialogue. The biggest thing is we're acknowledging our body, acknowledging the emotions, because that's something we don't do very well in this society. We tend to be more outside, move on. So tapping is a very easy form to just, once you know the tapping points, you can do this anywhere, but I don't suggest when you're driving, at a bus stop, or at a street corner, okay?
Indeed, excellent. You brought up a great point just now about how we're not expressing our emotions. So often I feel like I just kind of like shove them down, because I'm not allowed to express my emotions freely. I just shove them down, put them to the side, etc. So I think sometimes what's happening to me lately, and maybe for many of you out there who are now transitioning, working from home, working remotely, right? We may have some emotional feelings come up. We may be having a bad day, but because we're by ourselves at home, who do we talk to about it?
Well, it's important because you're right. We are isolated very much so, and we try and and we're a society that does distract ourselves. So my actually one of my techniques is really helping you have. I call it you're having a bad day, the no edit, the no filter rant. I used to call the Chevy Chase rant. We all remember if we watched Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase goes off and it's just horrendous, like nice rant. Well, I'm saying take the niceness out of it. So when you're having a bad day, you really honor what's going on with you in the moment, and again, our society, our parents well taught us meant well that don't say things like that, don't acknowledge that. But I'm saying if it's true for you, you can say it. Lightning isn't going to strike you down. It's really in your truth in the moment. The fact if you've got a bad day, maybe you've had all kinds of trouble with your Zoom that day, or you've had some meetings with bosses and you're just blowing a gasket and you don't know how to process this emotion. So I teach people, one is we start tapping. And very simple tapping points to heal a hand, and I'm having this awful day. And if you want to use 4-letter words, by all means. I mean, obviously, you want to be under your breath somewhere. But bottom line is, you can do this anywhere. If you have to go outside in the backyard, tapping. I'm having the worst day of my life. I can't stand it right now. My body feels like it's on fire. And this is a big truth for people, learning to what they actually feel in their body. And I don't know what it feels, but man, I just want to explode, right? Because our body holds our emotions, and over time, this is where a lot of our illnesses comes from. So I'm all stressed. I've just had 2 terrible Zoom calls. One guy my boss is driving me nuts. So I need to unload before my next Zoom call because I can't focus. So I'm having a bad day. I'm going nuts. I can't stand it. I'm upset. And I'm having a really bad day. This is the worst day I've had in a long time. I have all these crazy emotions. Side there. And again, you're tapping right on the center of the eyebrow, side of the eyebrow, just off the temple. I'm just having a bad day. That every time I talk to this one person, I just get so upset. I can't communicate with them. I can't seem to do anything right. And we've all had, bosses that were really strong or micromanaging bosses, and those are really tough. Under the eye, just on the soft part, again, very lightly. So this is easy for some, maybe more difficult for others. I can't stand when this happens like this. And I just don't, I got, everybody's running around. The kids are driving me crazy. I'm so overwhelmed. If you could only see my desk, oh my God, you don't want to put the camera down there.
I can attest to that. Yep. Thank goodness for these Zoom background filters.
Very focused. Under the nose. Again, I can't stand this when I feel like this. This is driving me crazy. And then chin crease. And then use some language, whatever you feel like. And you don't have to. I'm just suggesting that you open a door to what is possible for you, because underneath this all, once the emotions subside, it's really what our truth is in a moment. And I really want to help you express this energy that you can get to your truth in a moment. And it doesn't have to make sense to you. So again, collarbone, I'm having a bad day. This is disgusting. I wish I could go outside and smash things. I wish I could stomp or even put on a monkey face for the next filter for the next person I talk to, because that's how I want to represent myself. We have all these crazy filters and we can do this. So thank goodness for a good video cards and laptops now. So I'm, again, having a bad day. It doesn't mean you have to make sense like I am, because I'm not making sense either right now. So under the arm, I'm having a bad day. This is the worst day I've had in a long time. I have all this unprocessed energy. I don't know what to do with it. It's driving me crazy. Top of the head. I have to deal with so many things. I have to deal with my parents who are aging. I'm arguing with my partner, arguing with my business partners. I don't know what to do. What this does is allows you to process the energy so it doesn't build up in your system. Because often what happens when it builds up, we unload on the wrong person. We've had a bad day, something happens and it's building and building, and somebody else comes on, and sometimes it's our family, and we say the wrong things at the wrong time and a fight starts. It could be our kids, it could be our partner, and we can't take that back. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm stressed. And that's what all of us did that. We've all done it. But when you can do this and stress and tap and really just unwind and let it go, you don't have to even say anything. Just sometimes just acknowledging your body, and this is you're acknowledging your system, that you're allowed to do this. One, this is really safe for children. When children have their emotions and you can teach them how to tap, maybe get a little piece of carpet, say this is your tapping piece, they can process these emotions very quickly. And then again, you're not trying to manage, what goes on. We all have them. We all have these expressions, and it's allowing them to have, especially now with all this last year of how much we've been denied our ability to go do things. Frustration, rage, depression, anxieties have just been off the chart. And we're trying to distract and medicate. Well, here is a way to work on us. And this is just work. It's not a quick fix, but it's a lot, but you're not like you have to talk about, though. You can just tap and start to feel your body. Where is the energy in your body? It may have a shape or color. You may not feel anything, but I call this your emotional fitness test, because over time, what this really does is starts to drop the cortisol in your system, which is a very high stress hormone. And over time, that starts to really cause disability in your brain function all over it. So when you can drop that in 30 minutes, within 30 minutes of tapping, you've dropped your cortisol by about 20% or 25%. So that's a big piece when we're stressed out all day to do this. So what I suggest is you can do tapping breaks. Again, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. It's emotions. You're accessing your body. You're acknowledging the energy in your body with these meridians and truly how you feel. And I mean, I've had bad days too. When I was working full time, I remember, I guess, coming home after an audit that didn't go well. And I was so mad, I was tapping and freaking out downstairs by myself. Within 20 minutes, I'd really let go about 90% of this. And I could think clearly about what actually happened that day. So this is a much quicker technique. And as long as you do it, It only works when you do it. And you can do this. There's a finger tapping technique as well. Same fingers. Same. All the meridians run through your hands. So you can actually tap on your fingers. On your fingers. While you're walking. Nobody can see this. And I do it with while I'm walking. So I tap like this. Like that. Like that. I can do that while I'm walking. It takes a little bit because my hand wasn't that flexible at first, but while I'm going for a walk, I can tap, or I can tap under the table. If I'm in a meeting or if I'm on a Zoom call and it's nervous, I can tap my fingers and I'm still lowering my stress. And this really works if you're nervous too going into a meeting. That's super important. One, for releasing stress, but two, if you're really anxious, and you can talk about the same thing. What's your truth going into a meeting? I'm really stressed. I got a big audit with my boss. I'm really wound up, or I'm going for an interview and I really want to calm myself down. This is beautiful for that, because you can talk about all the things that you're feeling stressed about in the interview, and be truthful. And then when you acknowledge, I call clean the slate. You want to acknowledge what's going on before the interview, or I feel stressed. I feel this. Clean the slate off, acknowledge it. And then you can say an affirmation after that. But it's hard to say an affirmation when you're still feeling stressed. So clean the slate, talk about what's bothering you, and then put something positive in. Okay, I feel good. I'm better. I feel calm, confident. I really want to do a good job here. Whatever is your truth, you can find some positive phrases. There's lots of quotes. You can use those quotes as well online. So you may not think of something, but again, clean the slate, find a really good quote, tap a few rounds with a nice quote, and get yourself ready for your interview or your job or something you want to do to put on a positive energy in your system. How's it?
Richard, that is fantastic. Thank you so much. I could really feel like my own energy shift, just going through the motions, right? And so that's fantastic. And a couple key points I want to, that just stood out for me is that it only works if you practice. This is a new technique. Yeah. And it doesn't take much, right? It's just establishing that routine and getting comfortable with it. And again, the more you do it, the more it becomes, I guess, like second nature. Mm-hmm. So I love that. It only works if you practice and implement it, etc. And also I love the fact that you called it emotional fitness, right? That is so key. And part of what I was saying earlier, so, I kind of bottle my emotions inside or keep it inside, and it's okay. It's okay to express it and release that. And instead of storing those emotions inside my body, tap into those meridian points so that way they have an outlet. That was really beautiful too, the way you expressed it. And, being able to do things, under the table. I like it a lot too.
a new meaning for under the table business.
Yes, new meaning. Under the table business, indeed, etc. Wonderful.
But
that is, yeah.
As a parent, it's wonderful to teach children this, because you can do it with your children and everybody sort of calms down at the same time. It's a very simple technique to learn. It's about as safe as you can get. So when your partner, if you happen to have a partner, but your children, when you can tap with them and it just brings everybody down so we can have a good conversation. And again, it's a way of getting ready for the day.
You know what? That's great, because we talk about having a morning routine or an evening routine to help down. So this could be a great way to incorporate that into kind of ritual and routine. So wonderful. There's another point that you raised just now, which I really loved, and it's, repeating affirmations. So when you're in a negative state, repeating affirmation over and over to yourself, really won't have that much impact. So I like what you said about just cleaning that slate, so getting all that negative energy out first, and introducing a positive affirmation with the tapping exercise to really reinforce that. So that was a great, illustration there.
Well, I feel, affirmations are great, but I feel it's counterproductive to your system if you're trying to use an affirmation when you're really inside feeling you're polar opposite. And I think for your body to be, they talk about congruency in sense of habits and there's all kinds of dialogue on this topic. But when you're congruent with yourself in a moment, and and it may take longer to take out some of the negative charge, but putting a positive in then has a place for it to land. You know, it's you can now you're more willing to accept that. But if it's so far from where you actually feel, it's almost counterproductive. It's like, you're kidding, you're a joke. You know, the mental dialogue, it's even worse. You know, so it's yeah, clean the slate, and cleaning the slate at first may take a long time. You know, there's you know, so again, it's work. It only works when you do, but it's the most simple, effective technique that is it's a pattern interrupt. It really is. It interrupts the pattern of craziness. It interrupts the crazy thoughts in our head when we're tapping, and we let it out. And because most of the stuff isn't even ours.
Exactly. So what happens if you tap things out of sequence? Because I noticed you're following a very specific sequence, you know, from the head to the center eyebrow, under the eye, etc. So like, if you are practicing this for the first time and you're out of sequence, does that have an impact?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's no right or wrongs. Some people have it down to like an algorithm when they know certain meridians connected when they're working specific with client. That's too detailed for me. I just like to keep it simple.
Okay.
I work with more, as you know, an intuitive process with somebody understanding what they're feeling. And oftentimes I can feel the dialogue, you know, before they even feel it. So, but on your own, you cannot mess this up on your own. If you only tapped on a couple points and you're just like, it's as intentional as it is physical. Just the fact that we unconsciously do points anyway. We unconsciously hug ourselves like that, or, you know, we can hold our head points, but if you don't even know you're close, you're still on target because you're actually acknowledging yourself, and you're just, you know, you can just tap. And even if you have these crazy thoughts, just, you're aware of them, and it's like going for a walk. This is your emotional fitness. You're letting your body kind of go and take a breath.
Great. Amazing. Wonderful. Well, yes, for anyone who's watching, if they'd like to get in touch with you or would like to learn more how to work with you, what is the best way to get a hold of you, Richard?
I have obviously a business profile on Facebook, Richard Morden, Life Transformation Coach, and the same on LinkedIn, same Life Transformation. I have a link tree, which I'll spell it, or I put in the thing. It's https /linktr.ee/Richard M777. So, and again, all my contacts are in my LinkedIn profile, or my Linktree profile as well, the calendars, scheduling, like that. So any questions, find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, send me a message, drop me a line. Happy to respond, happy to provide information for somebody, just to create find you a resource, whatever works for you. Just want to share and you know, find some ease in your world, because we all certainly need it at this time.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Richard, so much for your time today and sharing that practice with us. And yes, I have included Richard's link in the comments as well. It's in the show description. So please, you know, reach out to Richard if you have further questions. And this is a segment of Lunchtime Live. We go live every Wednesday at 12:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to be featured as a guest on Lunchtime Live, you know, send me a message. I'll include the calendar link as well for you to sign up a slot. And again, I am here to help you become more visible. So thank you, Richard. And for everyone, thank you for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.